Good morning. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Morristown and the live broadcast on Facebook Live and on YouTube. Good afternoon, good evening, good middle of the night, whenever you are watching. We are still celebrating this year with timeless wisdom and evolutionary vision, and March is still being open to all possibilities. And today we're doing the wrap up for our visioning talks that we've done through the month of March. And I'm really blessed to have Theo Tilton participate with me as the religious science practitioner, licensed practitioner, and he will bless us with a talk and sharing some experience of himself around visioning a little bit later. So today I want to focus on the last few questions in the visioning process that came out of the teaching that was developed by Dr. Michael Beckwith. And then I want us to really think about a deeper listening with a different quality than any kind of other listening. And we're asked to just be willing. So my name is Frankie Timmers, and I'm the spiritual director at Center for Spiritual Living Morristown here. And we want you to check out our website. It is being updated, so keep looking. And it's cslmorristown.org. And you can see on the screen that we now have an easy breezy way to give. So you can just text, which is really fun to do. I want you to know that we have a lot of some great events happening at our center. We are starting something new today. It's called Circle of Truth with Theo, and it's a wonderful interactive healing experience that's for about a half hour. It's new. It's on Zoom. If you are on our email list, you should be getting all that information I'm telling you about. So if you're not getting it, let us know and we'll make sure that you will get it. Let us know your email. I want you to know that on Tuesday, I'm starting a new reading circle with the book by Deepak Chopra called The Book of Secrets. And in our time, Jersey time, that's from 7 to 8:30. Then we have our men's meeting, which meets every first Saturday of the month from 8:30 to 10:30 Jersey time. And they've been doing that for about 20 years. Reverend Jennifer Berkeley will be teaching a class in April, which we're very excited about. It's called Spiritual Principles and Practices. And our own Kat Roman is doing a mandala drawing workshop again in May. So be sure to check out all the goodies that are happening in our community. If you are on Facebook or on YouTube, let us know you're watching, make some comments, ask some questions, say hello to one another, use the bubbles. I'm an emoji person, so use your emojis and tag someone, share with someone this wonderful work that we're doing in our spiritual community. So now I have the honor of doing an opening spiritual mind treatment, which is our word for affirmative prayer. So I invite you to, if you're able in this moment, to close your eyes and just imagine that these words are spoken by your essential self, your highest self, your true self, your God self. So right here, right now, I know there's a power in a presence that is ever giving, ever serving, ever loving, and ever revealing itself. Whether it is in the raindrops that we're hearing on our little cover by the back door, or whether it is the beginning semblances of spring, or wherever you are, it is the love of someone, or whether it's a pet or a person, or it's simply knowing that the breath that I'm experiencing in my body is holy. So right here, right now, I open to this experience, knowing that I am about to remember more about my essential nature. I'm about to understand that there are spiritual practices that are ever available to me to not only expand my being, but to live that which is already the truth of my being. And so I trust and know that life itself is the greatest blessing, that it is the way for me to open my heart, my mind, my body, and my soul to the greater experience. And that healing is always at hand, because healing in our language means spirit revealing itself. So with awe and gratitude for this experience, this life, this moment, this breath, I turn this word over to the universal law, knowing that it is already demonstrating it in the highest and best ways, not just for myself, but for everyone in my sphere of being. And so it is. So, March has all been about the practice of visioning, which comes out of the tradition of the Science of Mind teaching and was so beautifully developed by Reverend Michael Beckwith, who cultivated this beautiful practice, this beautiful spiritual practice, as a way of deeper listening. To me, it's like putting meditation and prayer together and letting go of our ego mind, our thinking mind, our conscious mind, and listening to a deeper experience that wants to become known, wants to be expressed, wants to be lived, wants to be felt, wants to be noticed. And so it's a particular language that we then use in a conversation with ourselves, with each other, with spirit. And that language is such a beautiful way of knowing truth, hearing truth, being in truth. And so we want to understand it as a way of having a conversation with spirit, having a conversation with our highest self. Remember the book Conversations with God that Neil Donald Walsh wrote? It's like that. And so we want to explore this. And for those of you who are listening for the first time, I want you to know that on YouTube, every talk of this month is being broadcast, and it has the first 3 questions. What is the highest idea that wants to be lived by means of me, wants to be expressed? What wants to be expressed, what wants to be learned, how do I need to grow, and then what must I release? What wants to be let go of? What's in the way? And so it's a higher level of knowing, a higher level of seeing, a higher level of being, right? That then translates into the conversations that we can have with one another. And so today we move into the question of what are our gifts and talents, and in having these gifts and talents, how can I serve? How may I give? How may I live? And then we ask the question, is there anything else? Is there anything else? And we practice deeper listening. And so that high-level conversation is really about transformation. It's about living in the question, living in the awareness that there's always something more, something new that wants to be revealed. It's a higher level of allowing, a higher level of deeper being, deeper listening, deeper awareness. And so what I have discovered in working with myself and in working with others is that we very easily get distracted. We think there is too much to do. We think we don't have enough time. There's so many things of interest, so many things that we love, that we have to have the willingness just to be still, just to listen, just to be open, instead of having that urge for the next thing, for the next distraction. I know sometimes with our smartphones, there is so much temptation because there is more on my smartphone than I will ever get to experience. But it's being willing to turn it off and listen to a higher frequency that doesn't distract so deeply. So Michael Beckwith says, where there is a willingness, there is a way. Where there is a willingness, there is a way. He also says, where there is a willfulness, there is a wall. Where there is a willfulness, there is a wall. And I love when Theo comes on, he's going to share a little bit about the difference, right? It's the difference of our spirit, our heart, our soul versus our ego mind, our historic mind. And so it's about listening to a new frequency, a new voice, maybe a new way of hearing truth and wisdom that maybe we haven't heard before, or haven't heard in a way that we've heard it before. And so the idea then, the way to do that is to not censor, to allow to come whatever comes without censoring. It may not make any sense. You might try to figure it out, and in trying to figure it out, you get deeper into a hole of what? But just really not censoring and allowing to come, even if it's nothing, and then to sit in that, and to wait in that, and to open to that. So I had surgery this week, and I use visioning for everything. I use it for this talk, I use it for classes, for workshops, for new ideas, for cleaning my home, for redecorating, for my health, for exercise, for everything. It's so instant now that I don't even have to do a special ritual around it. And so I did a lot of visioning before the surgery for several weeks. And the beauty about visioning, it's usually very simple. Sometimes it's so simple that we dismiss it, like can't be that easy. But the simplicity of the visioning was all about ease, grace, effortlessness, surrounded by, infused with loving support and clarity, clearness, clear health, wholeness, perfection. All those words were coming. And so I stayed very close with that language, because as you may know, that before surgery or when you have a health challenge, the mind can do some interesting things, right? Fear can pop up and have an interesting dialogue with us, have an interesting conversation with us. But it's in the visioning that we stay close to what we hear, that we keep trusting, and that we keep knowing when the opposite shows up. It's just information. It's information we can work with. It's information we can own. It's information that we can understand as the collective consciousness pressing in on us. So then we have to sort that out, right? And so we keep doing the visioning because we keep being a work in progress. There's more to be known, more to become conscious of, more to be revealed. And yes, the surgery was a success. So let's do the last two questions. And remember that the first questions are available on YouTube, where it's what is the universe's highest idea for me, for my life, for my work, for my relationships. And then in order for that vision to demonstrate, what must I become? How must I grow? And then in order for that vision to be manifest, what do I have to let go of? When we learned that the letting go part is probably the biggest work. And so close your eyes and place your hands on your heart if you feel like it. And take a deep breath. And even deeper. And if you hear raindrops in the background, it's because it's right outside this back door. Let it be music to your ears. And so here we ask the question, in order for me to live at this high level of conversation with spirit within me, what must I give? What is mine to give? What are my unique talents and gifts? What is my way to serve with those gifts and talents? Remember to not censor, to allow to come whatever comes, even if it is nothing, and to just listen to that voice of truth within. And now we ask the last question. Is there anything else I need to know today? Is there anything else my higher self wants to reveal to me today? Now remember the words by Michael Beckwith. Where there is a willingness, there is a way. Where there is willfulness, there is a wall. So just let yourself become willing. Willing to listen for that deeper truth, that deeper voice. Willing to grow. Willing to let go of what's in the way. And willing to be of service. To share your own unique talents and gifts. And so now gently and slowly bring your attention back as we welcome our beloved Theo to now share a few ideas and a personal experience and a closing treatment. Have a beautiful day.
Hello. Good morning, everybody. My name is Theo Tilton. I'm a licensed practitioner here at Centers for Spiritual Living in Morristown. Thank you for being here with all of us this morning. And this talk is really a fantastic talk. I use the visioning process quite extensively in my own life, and I want to bring with you some of the benefits of incorporating this into your life. And so one of the premier thing that stands out to me as a benefit that comes out of doing the vision process inside of our personal lives is that it evolves our level of awareness and consciousness to what Beckwith calls the through me and the as me consciousness. Now, there are the other beginning layers of consciousness, which is victimization or victim consciousness, and then there's the by me consciousness. But then after that is through me and as me consciousness levels. And the vision process actually expands our awareness of it, because what's actually happening when you're doing the visioning process, it's right where you are. It's happening. It cannot happen without you. So it's happening through you. And so as you continue to use this practice throughout your life, you begin to see that it's not necessarily just you, it's happening through everyone. So it's this through me level of consciousness that begins to expand and evolve. And the next level of consciousness is the as-me consciousness, which is the realization that it's not just through me, it's through Frankie, it's through Mike, it's through my mother, my father, it's through my brother, my sister, it's through all of them. So if it's through all of us, there's this unification consciousness that occurs. And it's the as-me. If that is what's happening, it must be me, it must be the as I am. And so it's the highest level of consciousness, knowing that we are who we are. We are the vision. We are the creator. We are seeking that higher thing to be revealed through us. So that's the first benefit. The next one would be an expanded level. So working off of this idea that our evolved consciousness begins to elevate, there's this trust that begins to come through. A trust in the divine, that the divine is working it through us because we are in contemplation. Like Reverend Frankie said, it's like a combination of meditation and prayer. So when we pull these elements together and we provide that space of just revealing who we truly are, the truth wants to show itself. And because that's what it is us. And so this expanded awareness, this expanded level of consciousness, all begins to happen by regular practice of the visioning process. And the third benefit is that it's playful, it's fun. You know, if we are experiencing something like resistance to using this process, I'm going to talk about that in a couple minutes. That's more like your ego stepping in the way. Like that's the personal identity that steps into the way. And so, but this process encourages you to be open inside of this awareness. Like play, listen with playfulness, because you have no idea what's going to happen. You have no idea what's going to come through, what's going to be revealed in the answering of the questions. So that deep listening that Reverend Frankie was talking about, that Beckwith created in this process, was that listening through the ears of like what really wants to come through. Like, I don't even know if what this thing is real. Like all I see is the color red. I keep seeing the color red. What does that mean? So it's not for us to figure out what it means, but it's just to be open, aware, and be playful. So all of these are the benefits. Now I want to give you an example I already just did, which is the resistance of how do you know whether or not your ego is playing with this idea or whether it's truly divine and spirit working through you? Well, first off, if you are in resistance to even sitting down and making time, right? So if you're in the resistance of it and you're like, I just got to do it, and like you're totally resisting that, that's the ego part of you that's creating the resistance, right? So that's that wall, because that is the willfulness, right? Your will is like resistant to the whole thing. When we just jump in, like, I don't know what's going to happen, I'm just going to do it, and you're willing, that's that willingness, right, part that comes in. That's the divine. So that's good to determine whether or not you're being guided by ego or being guided by the divine. And it's okay, either one is okay. It's just recognizing where you're coming from. And as soon as you find out, oh, wait, hold on, that's my ego. Let me release my resistance and then sit down and just do it. Right? So we can go from one mind state into the other very easily and effortlessly. Another one would be, is if in the middle of the process, asking these contemplative questions, like what wants to come through? Who do I need to become? What do I need to let go of? You know, if we find ourselves start creating this elaborate design inside of our mind, like what wants to get created is this, and we start planning on how it's going to happen. We start outlining, we think we're starting to get these divine messages of how it's all supposed to work, right? It may be right? A little bit of like infiltration from the ego that's coming in, because this might just be an idea that's been in your mind for quite some time, and you know, like, oh, I wanted to start this business and I did do this, and you know how to do it, but you just haven't started, and you keep getting these messages on how to do it. Well, that just might be your ego telling you how to do it. When we are in the state of the divine and asking these questions, sometimes it makes no sense at all. So if you start to receive information that is seemingly like some random pieces of information, like colors and textures and objects and weather patterns and images of nature and like all weird kind of things come through your answer, that chances are you are now being divinely guided. So now it's up to you to simply document it and then be open and aware of what you wrote. That's it. That's your job. Your job is to be inside of the awareness. And so I want to give you an example of how recently, over the last year, I pulled this vision process into my experience in the area of real estate. I had a real estate project, and there was, not to get into all the ongoings of it, but there was an insurance situation where I had two huge insurance claims that seemingly were not working. Like, I was not recovering the money that I put back into this project. And I found myself trying to figure out, how do I keep calling and keep doing what I need to do to, you know, work this through and force it to happen in the direction that I want it to go. Like, I want this money recovered and put back in my pocket, right? And then I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Let me do the visioning process. Let me figure out what really wants to come through here. And so when asking these questions around these topics of these insurance claims, it came upon me, and the answering was, let go. Like, let go of the control. You know, what wants to happen is ease and grace and freedom. That's what wants to happen. You know, and how it's going to happen, I didn't have to worry about how that was going to happen. You know, who did I need to be in that situation? Was I need to be calm, I need to be relaxed, I need to be confident. You know, and what do I need to give up? I needed to give up the resistance to the idea that I wasn't going to get this money back. And I was like, that's going to hurt me. No. Like, I need to just let that go. Like, I am always protected and safe. Let the resistance go. And inside of doing this vision process, all of a sudden, things started moving, things started happening, and I had nothing to do with it. So all of a sudden, I started receiving phone calls and emails and, hey, by the way, your check is going to be in the mail in the next 10 days. Like, after a year of me resisting this process. So using the visioning process in literally every area of your life, like Reverend Frankie said, like whether it's cleaning a house or building a garden or you want to buy a new car or go somewhere, it's like just sit and be contemplative with the questions, because we never know what comes through. You might get a message that says, pack your bags and move to Bali next week. Like, and it'll scare the crap out of you, that is another thing to know whether or not it's spirit or if it's ego. If what comes through is bigger than you and it actually scares you a little bit, that is a good indicator that it is spirit speaking through you. Remember, the through you as you consciousness. So that's my story. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to close us up with a healing treatment, closing treatment. And then afterwards, we're going to have the circle of truth. So I will see you on that. So for now, let's just all close our eyes, go into silence, and simply know in this moment, this is a divine moment. This is a precious moment. It is omnipresent. This moment that is right here, right now, with me as me, is with everyone in my speaking voice, the listening, everyone listening and watching. This same moment is happening right now for everyone. It is omnipresent. You can't escape the presence of that omnipresent moment. And this moment is filled with energy and omniscience. The wisdom of all of life is right here and right now. That wisdom is accessible through me, through everyone, as themselves. The I am of the I am, and I speak this word right now in the I am for everyone that is listening right now. I am open, and I am aware, and I am clear. I am letting go of all resistance. I am in the flow of life. This entire community is built on the foundation of recognizing and riding that flow. And so how beautiful and wonderful a ride it is. This learning that we've had around the visioning process has opened up new doorways and windows to our own magnificence, which wants to come through. So we just open up and let it be. We let it come through. So thank you. Thank you, Mother, Father, God. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, O universal law that says yes to everything that we create through our words, through our thoughts, through our minds. This connection is divine, and I'm so grateful for it. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. We release it now and let it go. And so it is. Amen.